Hello everyone, my name is Madison Green, and today I'll be looking at the literary uses of the Bible and its relation to student learning. After the School District of Abington versus Shemp trial in 1963, requiring Bible reading and prayer in public schools was made illegal and unconstitutional through the First Amendment. The Bible is defined as being a collection of holy writings of the Christian religion combined into 66 books. It has been considered the most significant literary masterpiece ever written, the greatest all-time bestseller, and the one book that has inspired more music, poetry, and works of art than any other. However, the educational and academic necessity of the Bible is often questioned in schools when it comes to student learning. As a result, a majority of students, especially in public schools, know little to nothing about the Bible and its stories. Throughout this presentation, I will look at whether the use of the Bible in literature positively affects student learning in public schools. The question will be evaluated by understanding the literary elements of the Bible and how it can be connected with other literary works. I will also implement data from research and studies and analyze its impact on student learning. The literary elements of the Bible, such as metaphors and imagery, allows it to be studied more academically than religiously. Just as other authors, the Bible uses literary elements to communicate its content more efficiently. Teaching literary elements allows for students to understand concepts in a text and connect themes and characters. The Bible itself is a collection of stories that have literary elements and are simple enough for students to understand, regardless of their prior knowledge of biblical literature. Dr. Leland Ryken, professor of English at Wheaton College, explains that studying the Bible allows for the essential principles of literature to be highlighted. For example, in the book of Matthew in the New Testament, Jesus exclaims to his disciples, "It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter into the kingdom of God." A metaphor is used to help explain the difficulty of an excess of money causes in a person's heart. Another well-known metaphor in the Bible is comparing Jesus to a shepherd and the people to sheep through this verse. "I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep." Literary devices used in the Bible could help students learn how to identify types of literary elements and connect them to the themes of text. More allusions are made to the Bible than any other literary piece in the English language. However, many students know little to nothing when it comes to biblical literature and Bible stories. Based on data retrieved from a Gallup poll of teens in the United States in 2004, only 34 to 37% of participants recognized text pulled from the Bible. As a result, students will be unable to make a thematic connection between the Bible and literary pieces. In Of Mice and Men, a commonly read book in public high schools, there are multiple biblical allusions made, such as the Garden of Eden and the story of Cain and Abel. If students have no prior knowledge of Bible stories, they would not be able to recognize the allusions made and would see no thematic connection. Another commonly read parable from the Bible is the story of the prodigal son. Parables and their meaning can be taught without including a religious perspective in teachings. The study of the Bible from a literary perspective is essential and necessary in order for students to interpret and connect allusions made in other literary texts. All of this brings into question academic freedom and what that entails. To understand the Bible, or any other religious text, can or should be used in public education, the definition for academic freedom must first be understood. According to Stanley Fish, the Dean of College of Liberal Arts and Sciences at the University of Illinois, academic freedom is the freedom of academics to study anything that they like. The freedom, that is, to subject any body of material, however unpromising it might seem, to academic interrogation and analysis. Therefore, academic freedom means that if a professor or teacher believes that there might be any intellectual payoff by looking at material from a literary perspective, then they should absolutely give it a shot. Fish writes that if he explains to his students that studying the material in question could allow for a new understanding of academic interest, then it could open up room for other classroom discussions. Trying to discern whether or not the Bible is necessary in literature and public education has nothing to do with its content, but with what new insight and analysis could come from it. Although many educators and authors believe that the Bible can be used as a crucial tool for learning and teaching literature, there are some difficulties that can arise with it as well. Students and parents have previously protested the teaching of the Bible in schools because they do not like part of the New Testament being taught. Some students have also objected to learning about the Bible because they claimed it was boring, not because of anti-religious reasons. Bill Hyatt is an English professor and has used the Bible as a teaching tool previously. He says that he first explains to his students that learning biblical literature is important and how it can line up with the literary curriculum, and then it didn't take long to win them over. Another issue that can arise is that in order to teach the Bible from a clear literary perspective, the teacher, professor, or educator has to be careful to remain unbiased and not allow students students to feel that they are trying to push their views and opinions on them. This leads to a gap in the research to the question being asked. There is little to no research or information on whether students are open-minded enough for educators to use the Bible as a tool for learning literature and whether being closed-minded will hinder their learning abilities. The intention of my research was to conclude whether using the Bible as a literary tool is helpful in education or not. The intention was also to establish the pros and cons of utilizing the Bible as a literary tool. Dr. Bill Hunt was a big help in my research. He provided me with further information and a major source to include. This research opened up my mind to the possibilities that could come from studying the Bible in education and also reasons why it could inhibit student learning. Thank you and happy holidays.